Stop everything you're doing right now, because what I'm about to show you will leave you absolutely speechless. Yesterday, at the funeral of the beloved Kenyan gospel singer Betty Bayo, chaos erupted, drama unfolded, and cameras captured it all. A bishop publicly confronting Pastor Kanyari.
Sky, anapenda sana mchezo. Wewe kutoka wakati uliingia hapa umeona akicheza? Nini hii itakufanya ucheke mpaka ile meno ya ghadhabu hilo ionekane wakati watoto wanalia?
Mourners clashing violently with security. Content creators warned that their phones will be seized, and celebrities facing allegations of being kicked out, and a grieving daughter breaking down as she recalled her mother's final moments. Multiple shocking videos are now flooding the internet, and Kenya is talking about nothing else. What really happened at Betty Bayo's funeral, and why did it spiral into complete chaos? Stay with me, because what you're about to see will change how you view Kenyan celebrity funerals forever. Before we dive into the explosive moments caught on camera, let me paint you the full picture of what really happened. Gospel singer Betty Bayo, born Beatrice Wairimu Mbugua, passed away on November 10th at Kenyatta National Hospital. Betty's life was never without controversy. Her marriage to Pastor Victor Kanyari, the man behind Kenya's biggest church scandal involving the famous 310 shilling seed, a miracle scam. So, when news broke that Betty had died, Kenya held its breath. The family set a budget of 5 million Kenyan shillings. Dumberi Stadium was chosen for the Requiem Mass, and her final resting place would be her own land at Mugumo Estate in Kiambu County. But nobody, and I repeat, absolutely nobody, could have predicted the chaos that would unfold later. Now, we get to the first shocking moment that set the tone for the entire day. At Kenyatta University Funeral Home, where Betty Bayo's body was being prepared for viewing, absolute mayhem broke out. Picture this scene: thousands of people, mourners, fans, and content creators, all pushing and shoving to get inside the viewing area. Cameras everywhere and phones recording, everyone trying to capture the moment. Betty's husband Tash arrived in a dark green suit, matching tie and sunglasses, holding the hands of Betty Bayo's two children, Sky and Danny. These two children, already devastated by their mother's death, had to walk through this circus. And then the preacher in charge lost his patience. He stopped everything. He literally ordered the family to be removed from the room. Why? Because content creators were scrambling so aggressively to get footage, and that the family could not even mourn in peace. Listen to what he said.
Hii space yote itakuwa imeisha. So tunaomba tu kwa heshima tukopalete. Tunajua Dumberi tumeandaa space ya kila mtu.
And I am quoting directly here. A warning: not taking photos beyond this room, or you risk losing your device. Security is tight. You can use the devices outside after viewing the body. He threatened to confiscate phones. He warned that security would act. The situation had become so out of control that a grieving family could not even view their loved one's body without being treated like a tourist attraction. But wait, this was only the beginning. When the family finally tried leaving the funeral home, they were literally blocked by the crowd. Mourners surrounded them, singing, dancing, and shouting Betty Bayo's name. The entourage could barely move, and if you look closely at the footage circulating online, you will see little Danny, Betty Bayo's son, leaning against his stepfather Tash, looking utterly exhausted and overwhelmed. You will see Sky wiping tears from her eyes, and these are children processing unimaginable grief, and the world turned their tragedy into content. But that is not even all. Wait until you hear what happened at the gravesite. The family made a very clear decision. Only 50 people would be allowed at the actual burial at Mugumo Estate. Close family, select friends, and a few politicians. That is it. The Requiem Mass at Dumberi Stadium was for everyone. Thousands attended, and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki was there. Politicians like Karen Nyamu, Sabina Chege, Moses Kuria, and even George Wajakoya showed up. Gospel artists filled the stadium with emotional music tributes that left people in tears. But when the hearse began its journey from the stadium to Betty Bayo's home, chaos followed. As the convoy carrying Betty's body entered the compound, crowds surged towards the gate. Videos show people pushing, shoving, and desperately trying to get inside. YouTubers and bloggers were literally engaging in a push and pull battle with security personnel. The gate was eventually locked and the crowd outside erupted, screaming, shouting, and demanding for entry. One video in particular shows the white gate of a compound with hundreds of people pressed against it, hands reaching through, voices raised in frustration. One person wrote, "This burial should have been private. All this chaos we have witnessed at this burial, I am sure Betty will not be happy with them." Another one said, "Those are not mourners, they are content creators, and they have really taken advantage of the situation." And perhaps the most pointed comment, "Let's not mistake this for something else. Content creators should let people mourn their loved ones peacefully." The family wanted privacy. They wanted to lay Betty Bayo to rest with dignity, but instead they got a mob scene that looked more like a concert gone wrong. And now we arrive at perhaps the most talked about moment of this entire funeral. Pastor Victor Kanyari, Betty's ex-husband and the father of their 2 children, was invited to deliver a eulogy. When he walked to the podium, everyone in that stadium held their breath. This was the man whose scandal had put Betty Bayo through public humiliation. The man whose brand and drama had caused her so much pain. What would he say? He started with a disclaimer that immediately made the crowd laugh. "I do not really know how to read English, but I will try." The mourners chuckled, fair enough. But then something strange happened. Kanyari kept stopping, struggling to read his prepared speech, making jokes about his difficulties. He said, "Sijui kusoma kizungu sana lakini nang'ang'ana." The crowd was laughing at the funeral while children sat there mourning their mother. After Kanyari finished, the bishop stepped to the microphone and delivered a public rebuke that shocked everyone. Listen to his exact words.
Kena uonekane as if you are celebrating kama ulitaka Betty akufe. Wacheni kumix feelings hivi watu wa Mungu. Hii si puda, hii si mazishi ya puda. Kama tunamon. Kucheka tutacheka kutoka kesho. Na waeleza hivi kwa mamlaka ya mtumishi. Kuna uwezekano usiseme amen lakini unielewe. Ukienda kwa niliwaambia nilikuazika na watu, babangu mzazi amekufa. Wanakuja tunalia hapo, wanakuja kusema we are celebrating the death of Stephen Nimwani. Nikauliza ndani yangu, Jesus, our soul blood winner amekufa and you are celebrating. Utaigia kwa nini yake?
The little guy Sky likes to play, but have you seen her playing today? What will make you laugh to the point where your teeth are showing while the children are mourning? He was not done. What makes you behave this way? Is this a time for laughter? As if we are celebrating Betty's death? Let's stop mixing emotions like this. If we are mourning, let us mourn. We can laugh starting tomorrow. A bishop publicly calling out Pastor Kanyari at his ex-wife funeral in front of thousands of people and television cameras. The tension in that stadium was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Now, to be fair to Kanyari, he did offer what seemed like a sincere apology during his speech. He said, "I am truly sorry that my brand, my name and my drama put you through difficult moments." He acknowledged the pain he caused Betty Bayo. He praised her for never turning their children against him, and he promised to take care of Sky and Danny. Now here is something that had everyone talking and created its own wave of controversy. Betty Bayo's mother, Joyce Mbugua, was not at the funeral. Let that sink in for a moment. A mother not attending her daughter's burial. Bishop Wanderi acknowledged her absence during the ceremony. Joyce is based in the United States and did not travel to Kenya for the burial, Instead, she participated in a prayer service held in Seattle and sent a tribute that was read during the ceremony. In her tribute, Joyce revealed something beautiful about Betty. "Being my lastborn, my memories are still fresh. Betty loved God from a young age and would lead others in fasting and night vigils since age 12. She recalled how Betty had helped her relocate from their village to a comfortable home in Runda Estate and later encouraged her to move to America. But the reason for her absence from the burial was never made public, leaving Kenyans speculating and debating online. Then there were the rumors that had circulated in the days before the burial. Claims surfaced online that gospel artists had been kicked out of funeral planning meetings, that Betty's husband Tash was controlling everything, and that there was succession battles over Betty Bayo's property. These allegations prompted philanthropist Ndungu Nyoro to publicly set the record straight. He visited Betty Bayo's home and reported, "I couldn't find a parking space anywhere near her place. I had to drive back almost to the main gate, then walked back like someone on an evening stroll. Hundreds of vehicles were parked beside the road." He said he saw the very celebrities people claimed had been chased away now coming back online to find lots of tea, even some claiming that musicians were kicked out. "Sijui ni nini. Did I meet ghosts or what? Betty deserved our respect and love." The drama surrounding this funeral extended far beyond the actual burial date. In a surprising turn of events, politics intersected with mourning in a way that divided opinions. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki attended the funeral, rushing from another engagement to be there. The program was actually adjusted to accommodate his participation, and then came the announcement that shocked everyone. President William Samoei Ruto and Deputy President Kindiki Kithure would each contribute 5 million shillings, totaling to 10 million shillings, to a trust fund for Betty Bayo's children's education. The former President Uhuru Kenyatta also stepped up, donating 1 million shillings to the funeral arrangements and promising scholarships for Sky and Danny through the Kenyatta Foundation. At exactly 5:20 p.m., Betty Bayo's green casket was lowered into a grave, plastered with white tiles. Only 50 people witnessed this moment. The gate was locked and security was tight. The circus was finally kept at bay. Her husband Tash and her ex-husband Kanyari, her daughter Sky and her son Danny, they all stood together, united in grief and whatever differences existed between them. In that moment, they were simply people who loved the same woman. Bishop Wanderi delivered a sermon from the books of Revelation. Women from the CFF church sang Kikuyu dirges. Family members took turns throwing soil into the grave, and then the flowers were laid. One by one, Kanyari and Tash stood side by side, placing flowers on the grave of the woman they had both loved. The burial was completed by 6 p.m. and Betty Bayo, the 11th hour singer, was finally at rest. What we witnessed yesterday was more than just a funeral. It was a reflection of everything complicated about the Kenyan celebrity culture. The line between mourning and content creation has become dangerously blurred. Content creators treated at a burial like a premier event. Security had to physically protect a grieving family from cameras. A bishop had to publicly rebuke a mourner for laughing. But there were also moments of genuine humanity. A daughter's heartbreaking tribute, a husband's poetic grief, an ex-husband's public apology, a community coming together to promise support for 2 children who lost their mother too soon. Betty Bayo's legacy is not the chaos at her funeral. Her legacy is the music that touched millions. She sang about the 11th hour, that moment when God intervenes at the last possible moment, and perhaps her final gift to Kenya is making us ask ourselves some hard questions. How do we treat the families of the people who we claim to love? Where is the line between public interest and private grief? When did funerals become content? May Betty Bayo rest in eternal peace. May her children find comfort, and may all learn to do better. If this video moved you hit that subscribe button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned because we'll be following this story as it continues to develop. Until next time, let's remember, the 11th hour is coming for us all. Let's catch up on our next celebrity drama files.